Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. We are getting started on time, which is cool. And I'm just going to finish doing a couple things to get set up here. As always, if you want to comment, feel free to leave a comment in the YouTube comment section. Or if you're watching this from Google+, you can do that in the Google+ chat. Or if you want a little more of a real-time experience, you can tweet me at Play It Painted. And from there, we'll be able to discuss tonight's topic. And we'll get into tonight's topic. As you can see, it's actually in the title of the video. So you'll see what we're talking about here in a minute. Just loading up Twitter. So we'll see how that goes. Sorry about the shaky camera. I'm like hitting my desk here. And drinking a little caffeine. And you're not supposed to do that when you're painting. You're not really supposed to have sugar or caffeine when you paint because it makes your hands shake. But my hands shake all the time, so it's not that big of a deal for me anyway. I'm going to just move a couple things around here, and then I'll show you what we are working on tonight. So like 20 minutes before the show, I realized I had nothing in the and ready to paint department. I did not. It's actually kind of a good thing. I had everything that was in the primed and ready to paint department got painted up, and that was the last of the bits there. And that was Super Dungeon Explorer. But tonight, what I did right before the show is I quickly put together this miniature and did my priming and just airbrush on work on the base here. So this miniature is Takanosuke from Anima Tactics, and we're going to be talking about Anima Tactics tonight. And so I figured, hey, let's paint an Anima Tactics miniature just to show you, I guess just as kind of a tribute to the game and the system. So here's Takanosuke. I mean, look at this model. First off, the energy in the model is insane. The energy, the character in the model is insane. He's jumping off this rock, and I put him on this secret weapon miniature like bogland base because I want him to kind of stand out a little bit. And I think he's awesome. And that's why this topic tonight is got me a little bit bummed. If you guys have not been following Ninja Division or Cipher Studios, it was announced that Anima Tactics is going to be discontinued by Cipher Studios / Ninja Division. The miniatures are still going to be available for sale. They're going to make available the last limited edition Celia, which is kind of a bittersweet thing for me because I've been begging for that miniature. And yeah, they're gonna, even Eldorado is no longer going to be going through distributors. It's going to be all direct order from their site. So that's tonight's topic. I'll get into that in a minute. We need to get started on some painting, though, to kind of paste this. And as always, I'm fumbling through my paints here, trying to find the paints that I need to get going. So, and I can hear a couple of updates going past. Let's see what that is. Okay, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about tonight, so we're just going to stay on it. Once again, welcome to Play It Painted Live. If you are painting or should be painting, let us know what you are or wish you were working on. Just get my brushes out here. What's that? I don't use that brush. There we go. All right, and for the, oh wait, I don't use that brush either. There we go. All right, so I'm going to paint in the eye. There's only one eye on this miniature because the other eye is behind a patch. So that's really cool. And I kind of forgot what the artwork for this model is, so I don't know exactly how he's supposed to look, but I don't care. I want to paint him the way I want to paint him. Oh, that was not good. That was not good. Lost a lot of black. Sometimes these little squirt bottles, I mean the eyedropper bottles, get a little out of hand, and so they kind of squirt coming out. Got a really runny black working tonight. That's not bad though. I'm used to highly thin paint, so it should be okay. We'll see. As long as it doesn't dry down too glossy, we should be okay. Not sure if Corey's going to be joining us tonight. If I am going to shoot him a link in a minute here and see if he decides he wants to hop on. If not, no big deal. He may have some thoughts that he wants to share. And I know some of you guys from the Cipher Facebook or one of the other Facebook groups may want to chime in as well. If you want to chime in, you have a number of options. You can hop on the feed itself. Just hit me up on Facebook and I'll send you a link invite. Or, as always, you can comment in the YouTube section, the Google Plus section, or you can tweet me live at PlayItPainted. And I will respond to your comment. Okay. So anyway, let's get going here, because this model's really cool. I bought him with really no real intention of playing him heavily. I bought him because I picked up Kujaku Hime, and Mark and I were going to go through this thing of playing the couples in Anima Tactics and playing couples against one another. So, for example, Justina and not Xavier, the other guy, the other church guy, Damien. There you go. And fielding them against each other and saying, okay, not cutest couple, but who's the most badass couple in Anima Tactics. And I love team cards in Anima Tactics. We'll get into the game and how fanboy I am over Anima Tactics. It's definitely one of my favorite games. It was in my top 5 this past year. It was my #1 game in 2013. And this is just, it makes me sad. I won't lie. It makes me sad. But I haven't quite given up hope, and maybe that's the fanboy in me talking. But I haven't given up hope, guys. I still want to see. I still think that this game has a following. I still think that this game, at least from my end, will continue to be played. And I don't know what that means. I don't think that this game is going to become a very popular game. I don't think it's really going to gain any more popularity than it already has. And that's not much. And that's part of the problem. The game itself isn't very popular. And maybe we can discuss some of the reasons why we don't think it's popular. I will give you some of my reasons, and you guys can feel free to chime in all you want. But right now, my task is to paint in this eyeball. So I'm going to be a little preoccupied getting this done, and then we'll get into it. So once again, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. I'm going to load YouTube comments right now just to see if anyone popped in to say hi or anything like that. No comments yet. Okay, cool. All right, we're going to get back to it. Welcome to the show. Thank you for watching as always. And like I said, we are painting Takanosuke from the Anima Tactics line. I don't even know if I'm saying the name correctly. Takanosuke. Some people say call him Takanosuke. I think it's more Takanosuke. I don't know. But I'm not Japanese, so I don't know. I'm not Japanese, nor am I one of the writers for Anima Tactics, so. Just painting in the eyeball. Oh, somebody sent me some kind of message there, so I'm going to look into that in a minute. Let me just finish squaring out this eyeball. There we go. Okay. See if you can even see it on camera. Let's try. Let's see. Can you? No, it looks totally black on camera. Looks totally black, doesn't it? Yeah. Look at it in the light here. It does look pretty black. I might have to let me redo the white parts of the eye, just so that he doesn't look like I just painted in a black dot for the eye. Actually does have an eyeball there. Okay, and let's just dot that eye in. But yeah, the news made me a bit sad. I don't think the news surprised anybody who's a follower of the game or a follower of Cipher Studios. But, it doesn't make us feel any better about this news. It's just kind of sad, really. Let's see here. Text. That was not related to the show. Okay. I do read texts, so those of you who have my phone number, yes, I will read texts as they come in on the show. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's do a little flesh here. Now that we have the eye paint. Oh, actually, you know what? I should probably. Well, no, I'm gonna come in and I'll paint in that eye patch in a minute here. Let's actually get to painting in some of this flesh. And there's some other stuff coming in. No. Nothing related to the show right now, just other stuff. So, anywho, so here we go. I'm gonna shoot Corey a link to the feed if he wants to hop on. I don't even know if he's watching right now, but just in case he decides he wants to be in on it. There you go. Okay. Maybe Corey has something to add here. And you guys, if you guys are viewing and you want to hop on, and you have something to say, feel free. All right. So, yeah, I from what I recall of Takanosuke and from what I can see on his character card, he's kind of a ninja type character. And he's got like white hair. And his outfit's dark. I think it's black. I probably won't go black. I'll give us a little fleur-de-lis here on his, like across his the bottom of his chest. So I'll paint that in. Here comes another text. That might be about the show. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, either way, he's got kind of an elf ear. It's interesting. He's got pointed ears like an elf. And I don't really know. I haven't really read up on Takanosuke. I know Mark tends to play Takanosuke when we play because he likes Kujaku. And they're a pretty cool team. I've seen a couple things that they can do, like they can switch out. I think Takanosuke has like kind of a shuriken style attack, which seemed pretty cool. It looks like he's got a scar on his face. I wonder if that's, or I hope that's not just bad sculpting. It doesn't look like it though. It does look intentionally like a scar on his face. So I think I will paint that in as a scar. And I'm going to cut this eyeball here real close. As close as possible. Without painting in the eyeball. Because you don't want to do that. And Takanosuke's pretty cool. One of the things that I really like about Anima Tactics is even the models that I don't like, I'm not very impressed with. When I paint them, I just think they're fantastic. Like even some of the models that just look horribly stupid in the packaging. The funniest of which, for me, being male Wizen Shaft Agent. I mean, that guy just cracks me up, and I can't really explain why. I think it's he's got like kind of mousy hair, and then he's like waving a giant, I think it's supposed to be like a giant shuriken, but it ends up looking like the steering wheel for a ship, and it just looks ridiculous, and it cracks me up. All right. Okay, another comment here. I was more annoyed no chance for Zenobius for Azure. Yeah, I don't know. I guess what they've written is what they've written. They're, if they've, I don't know who Zenobius is, if he's a character from the RPG or something like that, then yeah, that is really annoying. All right, so anyway, thanks for the comment, Jose. But yeah, we're gonna keep on trucking here. This character has a lot of flesh, but yeah, the details pretty cool. Wow. Okay, so people are texting me. This is bad. Okay, there's some people texting me about stuff that's not about the show. I think they're doing it on purpose now because they think it's funny. Because I won't talk about the regular personal life stuff and speculation. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, skipping it. Gotta do my show. But yeah, anyway. Actually, you know what? We will talk about that. Okay. One of the suggestions that I'm getting here on text is, hey, we should do a show about comments that I make while I'm watching TV or watching movies. Some people think it's interesting because I talk a lot of trash about, because I'm just screwing around, and some people think it's funny or interesting. I don't know. I don't really have. I'm a skeptic and cynical, and you've heard me get snarky about stuff in the past. I don't know that it's that funny, but the person texting me does think it is quite funny and think it might be a thing. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I don't think please stop. Please. Okay. I may have to reply to this and say, just stop. I'm doing my show. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just not gonna. Anyway. Yes, it's a cool concept, but I gotta we're painting miniatures right now, right? So don't bug me. I'm painting miniatures, as I would say. Oh, he does have a. That's not a shuriken in his hand, but he's got some kind of weird, like, ninja glove on in this hand. I don't know what the ninja glove is, but anyway. So yeah, we're just gonna paint him in. He does have like a black outfit, but I think what we're gonna do is more of like a blue-gray. Okay. I may have to turn off my phone, unless, that's just not good. Alright. So, anyway. Ay. Stop texting me. Alright. Mystery Science Theater. Okay. Whoa. Plus Beavis and Butthead. Yes. Okay. I don't know. Might do it. We'll see. I don't know. Would be more time where we have to turn the camera on and record, and I seem to be running quite low on that kind of time lately. We are just getting into the thick of convention season, and so a lot of what I've been doing lately is gearing up for that. Also, just prepping for stuff like Forgotten King. That's supposed to be coming in, I believe, in the next month or so. And then we've got still waiting on my Wrath of Kings, which everybody else, I think, at this point has their Wrath of Kings except for me. I may be the very last of the U.S. backers to get Wrath of Kings. Luckily, I really don't care enough about it to throw up a big fuss. And I know it's Cool Mini, and I know Cool Mini are super, super bad about communicating and letting you know when you're getting something. So, anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being cynical there. Does it really matter, though? Nah. Okay. He has this weird open area here on his pants that I'm going to have to kind of thinking ahead here. So, anyway, there's the undercoat for his flesh. See if I can get that to show. There you go. And let's start lightening it up. So we're going to lighten it up with basic skin tone. I'm going to load up some YouTube comments here in a minute. So you can see I just add basic skin tone to the deep skin tone mix, and then I will stir that up. And then we'll just take it from there. All right, so if you're just tuning in, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Number of ways you can comment on the show. You can leave a comment in the YouTube comment section. You can leave a comment in the Google Plus Q&A section. You can tweet me at Play It Painted on Twitter. Or, like some folks, you can send me text directly. So, but I will not make that option available to everybody, just the people that know me and game with me, or some cases, one case married to me. Okay, no comments. Okay, cool. Let's just keep trucking then. All right. So anyway, so yeah, that's the news. It really is a shame. It's not a surprise, and as much as I want to be mad at somebody, I'm gonna accept part of the responsibility for the game going downhill. Well, maybe not going downhill is the wrong term. For the game being kind of set aside. How about that? Right? Because, okay, so yes, you can, for sure. A lot of people want to just get angry at Cipher about all this. And yeah, absolutely. Cipher has they they're going to take some responsibility, or a lot of the responsibility, regarding what happened here with this game, and and the inability to really give it the support that its fans felt it deserves. But I try to look at it from their perspective as well. And I think, it's not like they wanted the game to fail. It's just that I don't think the game ever really reached the critical mass that a small operation like Cipher needed it to, in order to invest significant resources in it. I think it was only marginally successful, and I think Cipher kind of accepted that marginal success. And then when they joined up for Ninja Division, this game kind of fell by the wayside, and understandably so, right? Ninja Division has all these new products now. They have all the soda. They have the success of the soda pop products coming in. The Super Dungeon Explorer. They have all that coming in, and the success of Super Dungeon Explorer, I guarantee you, is greater than what they saw on the Cipher front. And so, for Cipher's point of view, these miniature ranges, these lines have been around since 2000, as early as 2006, and they never really hit mass. And so, the question for them would be, as they join up with Ninja, is what are we going to do with these two games, which are in slightly different shape, and they have slightly different involvement in. And I can understand why they might come to the conclusion that, hey, it's just not economically viable to try to resurrect this game, Anima Tactics. First of all, they don't really have, Cipher doesn't really have creative control of Anima Tactics. Anima Studio still, from what I can see, still in control of the IP. They still publish the rule book, and really Cipher just manufactures the miniatures. So they don't have the kind of creative control to, say, launch a new book if and when they wanted to. That would have to come from Anima Studios. So they don't have that kind of freedom. You could have, I'm sure at some point somebody thought about, hey, maybe we should look at another book, or updating the rules. But if that person did, that person is probably not, the person with the ability to authorize that is not from Cipher Studios. So anyway, okay, comment here. Cipher is a small company and doing the best for their business. I'm a fan, invested in many dead, and will keep on painting AT because I have yet to play a game. Hint, hint. Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Daniel. Yes, we do need to get in a game, and I'm excited to do that. It's we're gonna have to pick a time for me to be out there, because I was just saying that con season's starting up, and so my weekends are gonna start locking up here pretty quick. But we'll try to make it happen. I hope Sundays work for you, or Saturday or Sundays. Oh, well, Saturdays are a little bit better for me most of the time, actually. But yep, we'll see. Okay, but yeah, that's a good comment. I mean, when I signed up for the free agent program, there was no Ninja division. It was just Cipher Studios. And I signed up for free agent because these games had been out for some time. And I finally kind of talked myself into buying some of the miniatures. And it was when I bought the miniatures and painted them and loved painting them and then tried out the game that I was like, hey, you know what? This is a good, fun game. It doesn't have, I recognized a need. You know, it's not, there's two different needs that you can recognize as a gaming volunteer. You can recognize, for example, you can recognize when, say, a lot of people are playing or starting to play a game in your area. For example, we'll say Infinity, right? You can see a lot of people picking up Infinity, and you might take it upon yourself to say, okay, with these people all taking interest in the game, it behooves us to have or volunteer somebody to organize events for this budding community of people. And that's a response to your local community and your local group. And a lot of people end up volunteering because of that, because that's a very, very good reason to sign up for something. But there's also a means in which you volunteer for a game because you really like that game and you like that system. And you might notice that, hey, I love this game, but nobody's playing it. And maybe if I get it out in front of enough people, then I'll be able to play this game. So that's the other way that you can get into volunteering. I guess there's a third way, which is like, hey, I want to be famous on the internet for being this, or I want to get into conventions and put down a deck of cards and say I'm doing something for the community. I guess that's the third way you could approach volunteering, but I don't count that way. It's usually as a response to the community itself, or you see a need because you want to play the game and not a lot of people are playing it. So in the case of Anima Tactics in El Dorado, I saw these games. They'd been on the shelf for years and years. I've wanted to try them out. Actually, more importantly, I wanted to paint the miniatures. And then secondly, might as well try out the game because the miniatures are so cool looking. And, when I tried out the games, I was like, wow, I like the games too. And, I was about to have a kid and thinking, well, I might as well, if I'm going to volunteer for something, I can volunteer for these games. And I'm going to put it in a way that might offend some people, but I don't care. These games were dead. No one was playing them. When I started, no one was playing them anyway. So it was like, so my thinking was, well, we'll give it a shot. We'll try it out. We'll see if people take to the games. And if not, you know what? I'll have a small following. I'll have a few friends around me that play the games, and I can throw an event for them every now and then and earn enough credit to put some small prize support behind that event. That was my thinking going into free agent, becoming a free agent for Cipher. This is a small company, small program. I realize I'm by myself most of the time. I realize that Cipher is so small that they're really not going to be that attentive to me as a volunteer. So I kind of went in with a low bar, and I at the time I got what I wanted. I liked the games. We had a handful of people playing them through a couple of events here and there. Did a little charity work while I was a free agent, and then it was. And then at some point, Ross pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I realize you're a free agent. Check out what's coming around the corner." And he was obviously referring to the formation of Ninja Division and the Ninja Corps volunteer system. So at that point, it was like, well, okay, I love these two games. I'm looking forward to trying out Relic Knights. I play SDE and I enjoy painting SDE. And then, SDE Arena came out and we had a lot of fun playing Arena. Still have a lot of fun playing SDE Arena, by the way. That's a very, very fun game. And so it just made sense. Well, okay, we're going to go. I was in a kind of a retirement mode with the free agent program, and then now we're going to go in with Ninja and actually start to promote new games. And that's kind of where it went. Some bad, and one of the good things about it is they're new games, fresh audience. You're going to get a little more response from the company, especially in that I know the Ninja coordinator, a friend of mine, so is that in that I know Ross and worked a lot of cons with Ross, and I know what to expect from him. That was a big plus for me. Even though I knew I was going in at, say, 60% of where I used to be with gaming volunteering. I was okay with that. Ninja was a new exciting thing. I like the games. Some of my friends followed me in to becoming ninjas on their own because they liked the games. And now, interestingly enough, the folks that signed up for Ninja Division or Ninja Corps when that first came out, at least around me, the guys that were around me were signing up because of the Cipher games, because they me or somebody else introduced them to a game like Anima Tactics or Eldorado, and they got really into those games, and they're like, yeah, I could promote this because Relic Knights hadn't shown up yet, and they got in mainly on Cipher, a little bit on STE, and now it's going to be interesting because not that Ninja stopped supporting the Cipher games, it's just that they're clearly have curtailed their efforts there. You no longer see really anything on the forefront about Anima Tactics or Eldorado. It's all right now. It's all the Relic King, Ninja All Stars. They're new products. They're newer lines, and of course they're going to do that. Those are their newer lines. Those are the lines. That's their future. That's the future of Ninja Division. Unfortunately, Anima Tactics and Eldorado is an argument, so I don't know or care to really venture a guess as to how they feel about Eldorado and the future of Ninja Division. But Eldorado is an older franchise anyway, so it makes more sense for a small growing company like Ninja to focus in on their new products and new product lines, and to encourage their volunteer corps to also really get behind those lines. It was an interesting thing when Relic Knights came out, and I had volunteered to be a ninja for Relic Knights before the game show. I was just really excited about it. I wanted, if I was going to volunteer for Ninja Division, I wanted to cover their miniature games much more so than their card games or their table games. I really, really was into the miniature games. And the miniature games at the time were these guys: Anima Tactics, Eldorado, and SDE as a miniature board game. But yeah, Relic Knights came in, and Relic Knights was exciting. It needed a lot of support. We gave it lots of support. Me and the people around me gave it a shot, and we embraced it wholeheartedly, and we still play it, and we still love that as kind of our go-to game. But yeah, that meant putting Eldorado on the shelf, because Eldorado, right before Relic Knights really started to get going, Eldorado looked like it was picking up a little steam, and it was kind of exciting. There were, we had the Facebook group, the Cipher Facebook group, which was on the up and up back then. We had some podcasts that were forming up. We had, we were starting to see more Eldorado and Anima Tactics. I put together a couple of series on those games. We started to see other people picking them up and painting them. So yeah, it looked pretty good. I mean, that was only, man, that wasn't even 12 months ago, was it? That really, it wasn't a full 12 months ago that we were kind of looking at these Cipher games going, hey, there might be a little renaissance here for these unsung games. And, but yeah, Relic Knights came in. Relic Knights sapped a lot of the resources from Ninja, Cipher, and of course their body of volunteers. And, you know, and the Cipher games lapsed because of it. Because the Cipher games were just, in my opinion, the Cipher games were just starting to be in the conversation again, when they hadn't been in the conversation for a number of years, and the games had pretty much flown under the radar, but now they were just about to get back into the conversation, and then, you know, all the resources had to funnel off. Is it? And you know what? I don't consider that to be a mistake. I don't. I just think it's a shame, because, you know, with the right support, I do feel that Anima, Eldorado, that these games can compete in the modern day skirmish market. I do believe that. I believe that especially with regards to Eldorado, I believe that anybody making a modern skirmish game could stand to learn something from that system. Because in my opinion, that system was ahead of its time. And it still incorporates a lot of things that I think game designers are, the miniature game designers are just barely starting to understand. You know, how to keep things clean and flowing, but include complexity in the games. How to keep it, very scenario focused. How to include complexity and flavor, and not divorce the mechanics from the background. And man, how often do you see that in games today, where it's like, well, you know, in the fluff it reads this way and this way, but when you actually play it, it really doesn't reflect that, because we needed to keep the game balanced or something like that. That really breaks my heart when I see stuff like that. And you guys that are veterans of the show or know me personally know where that heartache comes in from. You know, a game that I promoted for a very long time, you know, went through an edition change, and they really just, well, let's just call it like it is. The people who were in charge of designing the new edition of the game didn't read and or understand the background or how things worked in the previous edition, and didn't really respect those. But anyway, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. But yeah, when games can keep their fluff and their flavor, and can still be played in a reasonable amount of time, like Eldorado, and figuring out the base mechanics are really easy. This is, you calculate the number of dice you're rolling. The other guy does the same. You do your modifiers, then you roll your dice, you do your rerolls, and then you consult your power charts. Stuff like that. I mean, modern day game design, they want to try to keep the core mechanics simple, but then they want to include, you know, the aspect of collecting and tailoring your force for your own playstyle. And that's all good stuff. They just can't seem to do it without murdering the fluff or the background on a lot of these, or just making the pieces so generic that you don't even care. Eldorado, I think, did that really well. Anima Tactics is a character-driven game. I mean, almost every model, besides agents, are characters with their own background, with their own style, and everybody has unique abilities, and that can be seen as a nightmare to balance. But the way Anima approached it was, okay, well, it's all about, what access to characters you have and which ones you put together to make work. And it to me, seemed to work out okay. Seemed to be a decent enough approach. Anyway, if you're just joining the show, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. I'm going to load some YouTube comments here, see if anybody is saying hi on the YouTubes. No, but I do appreciate your viewership, and so I appreciate the folks that are viewing right now. All right, so okay, it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna so I gotta decide what happens here with the inner parts of the pants, because I think they're supposed to be like glowy or something like that. I don't know. So I'm gonna paint them glowy. Why not? Sure. So I will paint. I'm gonna paint this glacier blue. Actually, no. Let's do it. Let's do it the normal way. But I need glacier blue at a later point. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna do light blue in there. No. I'm gonna do electric blue in there. There we go. So I'll do electric blue in there. And we'll go with, he's gonna have a bunch of different blues and grays. I think that's what we're going to do here. He's going to be a mix of a bunch of those things. I think. So let's go ahead and paint in the insides of his, I don't know, what are these, hammer pants? They're like his ninja pants, I guess. Ninja pants. Please put the pants on. That's for Mark, if he's watching. So, yeah. So, I mean, the fact that Ninja is such a new company, and these franchises have existed with a modicum, just a very small amount of success, and a smallish following to them. But the future as their direction believes is in the newer titles, because it's way easier to get gamers into the shiny new to try to revive something that had been around. Now, I think that there is a kitsch factor for these games. It doesn't really amount to a significant following, but it's just something that happens. Look at the specialist games for GW that GW abandoned because they're just going to make more money printing more and more Space Marines, and to a lesser degree fantasy. And then they had Lord of the Rings around the corner, that they got rid of the Gorka Morka, the Blood Bowl, Space Hulk. Those just became like one-offs, or they just got rid of entirely. But then after they did that, then it just seemed a little easier to find people that were playing these games, because it was like, these are good games, and we're just going to keep playing them in our garage or with our friends or whatever. But they still follow the games, and they still talk about them online, and so you can actually see those small followings continue to flourish. So maybe some of that will happen here, but we'll see. You going with a specific anime theme for Takanosuke? I don't have one, because I don't know. If you have a suggestion, I can do that, or I can consider it. but I don't have one specifically in mind. I know he's kind of a ninja type character, and maybe you can recommend an anime character that he resembles, and I don't know. Yeah, let me know. Yeah. So, yeah, it makes sense for the company to get rid of it. This may actually trigger a kind of a small time revival where, a bunch of us still play and enjoy the Cipher games. It's not really going to be a revival for me because I still play the games. It's just not. I mean, for my immediate future, this doesn't really affect me. I just play. I just continue to play. The only way this affects me is, it's harder for me to. Well, I'm less inclined to try to get people, to get lots of people playing it, because it's like, well, why would I do that when, one, the company direction is Relic Knights, Forgotten King, yada yada, and two, it's going to be difficult for people to find pieces and look forward to more pieces. There were already some issues with the supplier side of things with these two games, and that's probably another reason kind of post-mortem here why the games just didn't really take off. They never really took off. They never really hit a high point. One of the other things I would point out too, and this is especially true of Anima Tactics, and this is just my opinion, but I don't think Anima Tactics was ever really put in front of the people that I think would make up a significant portion of its player base. And I'm talking about anime fans. Anima Tactics was never really shopped in front of anime fans. One thing that Richard Carmody would say is he thinks that Anima Tactics is a fantastic game, and he thinks that if you could get it in front of more anime fans, that the game would have a following. The game would see a reasonable amount of people interested in playing it. And I agree with him. I think if you did kind of put this in a hard anime crowd and you show them how when they get painted, and even the Cinet model I did the other, if you show them stuff like that I painted a Sword Art Online character from Anima Tactics, then I think you have the potential market for a game like this, because a lot of the wargamers are hot or cold about anime, and that wasn't those of us who get that now with Relic Knights, that's not a new thing. If you were pushing Anima Tactics, because that was the same things that I would hear was, oh, well, I don't really like anime, I shouldn't be playing Anima Tactics. And I'm like, well, that's, that's not necessarily true. Naruto, huh? Let's see. Naruto is a redheaded, kid, isn't he? Yes, I do like anime, but Naruto just isn't one of those anime that I got into. Naruto. Show me an image of Naruto. Yeah, he's got kind of a blonde hair, and then he's got orange. He's got an orange jumpsuit on. And he's a kid, so I don't know. I mean, the hair kind of right, and energy to him, but I don't know. I don't think so, dude. No. Me, probably not do that. Okay, I guess. So, yeah, that's just another comment. I think Anima Tactics you get this in front of lots of anime fans and you show people playing it, it could actually see a following. But I could be dead wrong. That's my opinion on it. Okay, so let's see. So now I need to do, I guess I need to do sky blue. Sky blue is too close, isn't it? Yeah. Sky blue is too close. So I'm going to do, I guess I'll do Azure. Kakashi character. Oh, okay. So you're not talking about Naruto. You're talking about Kakashi. Let's see. Naruto. Kakashi. Okay. White hair. Kind of green vest. And he's got one eye. Well, I'll do his hair white, and he'll kind of have blackish color. I won't do the military green, though. But, okay. I can do a little bit, kind of a little bit of a reference to that. What's with the giant feather? Oh, I got to figure out what color to do the feathers. I'll probably do those like a purple color. But, anyway. For those of you just tuning in, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Tonight we're painting Takanosuke from Anima Tactics. We're talking about the discontinuance of Anima Tactics by Cipher Studios Ninja Division. So, like I said, that decision to do that doesn't really change my immediate surroundings. It really doesn't change, if I'm still going to play Anima Tactics. My friends will probably still play because everybody pretty much owns stuff. And bottom line, it's a fun game. Who cares if, it's not going to be carried much in the stores anymore. It hardly was at this point. My LGS, I told CQ about it, and they're like, well, we'll just order from the site. So they intend to actually continue to stock Cipher games, which is pretty cool. I don't know why they would do that, but okay. They continue to stock them. I'll continue to show people how to play them. But yeah, I didn't really understand that, but okay. All right, so a little highlight here. But no, I guess what I'm saying is this doesn't mean that the games are dead for me. It just means that the games are going to see a very, very limited audience now. The people who know Anima and like Anima are still going to play Anima. They might even, we might even take it upon ourselves to do some larger scale promotion. I doubt it, but stranger things have happened for sure. I think for a lot of us gamers, it's just easier to pack it up and play something that has a better chance of a following, and that's not. I don't fault people who do that. It saddens me because that person might be settling for a game just because it's more popular and because they don't really have the time, the energy, or the desire to self-promote or to promote, get out there and promote a game that doesn't have a large following. So, those guys that tell me, oh, I play 40K because that's what the people around me play. Yeah, it can bother. That kind of bothers me sometimes when I hear it from certain people whose situations I know. And I'm like, well, don't you push other games too? I mean, you're not, and it's not like you only play once every 3 months and you have to play what other people are playing because you just don't have the time or the resources to promote in between. But whatever, right? I mean, everyone has if they like these other games enough, then they would play them. So anyway, Corey says no internet hooked up, but he's going to try next week. So no worries, dude. I know Corey had just moved, so he does not have internets. Sucks to be Corey right now, but that's okay. All right. So there we go. Now let's go a little bit higher. I'm going to move up to... Oh, I totally forgot. While I'm on Azure, I need to do Azure as the bottom layer of the white hair. So there we go. I do like this miniature. Very cool. It's a very cool miniature. No lies. I didn't think I'd like him as much as I do. All right, so now we're going to go to Glacier Blue. We're not going to go to a true white. Just Glacier Blue. Once again, if you play a painted live, let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. And feel free to comment either on YouTube, Google Plus, or Play It Painted. So, yeah. So, to me, Anima Tactics kind of goes the way of other games that I play officially, quote-unquote, supported. For example, Blood Bowl. But Blood Bowl has a big following. So, I don't expect that Anima Tactics or Eldorado will ever have like the Blood Bowl type, indie crowd behind it. But who knows? I don't see it. Some of those other games that I play, actually, I play a lot of those games that don't have the big. Well, I don't play a game that has a big customer support or volunteer support. I don't play, the Privateer or the GW, those games that have, big support behind them. But I do play games like Blood Bowl, Arena Rex, In Her Majesty's Name, the Osprey games. Those are games that don't have any kind of company-sponsored volunteer programs. They don't have, larger or even in some cases living or current rules. But people still play them and enjoy them, and I still play them and enjoy them. So adding Anima to that list, not a me, because I play other games like that. It's just going to be, this game is just going to be in that same vein. When I'm not playing a, one of the new hotness games, I'll probably be playing Anima. And as it turns out, we were playing a lot of Anima recently. We've been playing an inordinate, and it could be because I've been gaming often with Mark. And this is one of Mark's favorite all-time games. And we just love putting parties together and just playing. The sad part is, like last night at CQ, I had somebody asking me about Anima Tactics. Like, they wanted to get in on Anima Tactics. And that nearly broke my heart, because it was like, yes, I play Anima Tactics. You're welcome to play me. And they're like, well, yeah, but what's new? And I'm like, oh, boy. Yeah. I mean, I get it that, we're collectors, and we got to have that new shiny, or there's nothing really to look forward to in the games. You have your miniature range, and then that's it. If they, once it's discontinued. So I don't know. It just made me sad. It did. That made me sad, especially considering in the last 5 days, I've had more inquiries about Eldorado and Anima Tactics than I had in the past 3 months. It was like, can these people just sense when something is about to go down, and they're like, well, now let's show some interest in it. And you don't want to tell them like, hey, too little, too late, dude. In fact, I do want people to continue to play AT and Eldorado because they're good games. And miniatures are fantastic. It frustrates me to no end that these games, which I consider to be really good games, just can't buy a break. From the wargaming crowd. But that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. It's a consumer-driven market, and the consumers have spoken, and they like these other types of games. And these games, I find these games to be really, really good games, but I also recognize that I can be in the minority on a lot of this stuff. That, when I complain about stuff like, games being too list based or too combat heavy, that a lot of other gamers prefer that. They like that, and they're gonna continue on with that. So I just have to recognize it. I may be very well in the minority for a lot of this stuff. Okay. I'm going to put more white on the model. So I'm going to do just an edge highlight. I need to mount this model too. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. Oh, it's because I was trying to hold off and paint the eye patch in while I had him down, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move him up to the mount here. There we go. It's got a little bit of a gradient here on the blue. It's kind of like an ice blue. Now that it's all painted in. I guess I can make it kind of greenish too. Like seafoam green, the bubble part here. Anyway, but before we do that, let's not cramp my hands up anymore. Let's put him on this guy. So I'm going to mount him on here, which is cool because you guys will actually get a little closer to the model. Let me show you how it's looking so far. Ooh, those highlights are crusty. Crusty flesh highlights. There you go. Okay. Anyway, if you guys are just joining, welcome to Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting, while I continue on with Takanosuke. It's so frustrating. Like I was saying, like, look at that. Why are people playing that? Why are people playing like endless shoulder pad grimdark guys that all, I don't know. Never mind. Not gonna badmouth any other games. I'm just saying. That's cool. Anyway, let's keep going. But yeah, these are old games. They've had their tenure in miniature gaming. They never really broke into the more mainstream side of war games. And I think that's really where, if we're going to analyze failure, I think that's really where it needs to be. I think we really need to focus in on why did these games never really make it into the conversation. Now, you could go super fanboy like me and go, well, Eldorado was so far ahead of its time, people just didn't get it. And part of me believes that. But there's other things too. The themes are very specialized. They're not appealing to all crowds. They're appealing to a crowd, but they're not appealing to all crowds, and they may not be appealing to a majority of wargamers. Wargamers like stuff that I myself not necessarily be a fan of. Like generic sci-fi. I can't stand generic sci-fi. Hexagons for everything, and here's a boxy looking guy in his boxy armor, and here's the token warlike Klingon / orc race. Here's the token more advanced than human race. And it just looks so predictable and uninteresting to me. And I hope I'm not offending too many people that are watching this, but it just doesn't, that generic sci-fi just doesn't get me. It's just, okay, it's everything I expect it to be. Is anime everything that anime, sci-fi, everything I expected to be? Yeah, sort of. But I like what I expect from there. I like that. I like the really high energy type of worlds that the anime manga crowd, the community has put forth as other visions of the future. I love that so much more than generic sci-fi. Generic sci-fi just doesn't do anything for me. It's like, okay, spacemans, okay, alien mans, there you go. This is a grimdark thing, and wow, they have to fight. And here comes the attack stat, here comes the defense stat, here comes the random number generator, and remove model, right? Not saying that these Cipher games aren't that either, because there's a lot of that in these games. But I like the themes better. But yeah. But I do also recognize I was in the minority compared to your typical wargame market. I just think at that time, not too many people were trying to put miniature wargaming in front of alternate crowds. Everybody kind of looked at GW and said, well, these guys hold the pie. Let's just try to take some of their people and let's promote to that crowd, because that's the wargaming crowd that we can rely on. That's the one that we know. Those are the people that have already given us in our genre patronage. And so Anima Tactics doesn't really resonate with that crowd so much. What do you mean I can play a game with 2 miniatures? What do you mean I can dodge? What do you mean I can counterattack? What are you talking about? I have to manage AP. Why can't I just walk forward and shoot? And then the other guy can look at me. He can walk forward and shoot back. And we can just calculate damage, remove models, and then whoever's rolling more d6s wins. I mean, could have done that, but these are very different games. They may not have been very well marketed early on. Or maybe the market itself wasn't ready for them. I still don't think it is. Because, again, I still don't think, in the case of Anima, still don't think that it really got to see one of its biggest potential crowds, which are the fans of anime. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that, because, do you think Anima Tactics is best or could have done a lot better if they specifically went after anime fans? Not caring if they were miniature wargamers or not, just going after anime fans and really pushing the theme and the art of this game to that crowd. Because yeah, the theme and the art for Anima, man, I could totally live in that world, and it's awesome. And the video game, and no matter how far behind that video game is, I just love the art. I love seeing that. I think that Anima Tactics is a really good to be considered alongside the Anima RPG. You know, if you're a real big fan of the world of Gaia, which is where Anima Tactics is set, and you like the RPG, give the miniatures game a whirl. It's fun. I just it's fun, but nowadays it's, you know, you may just want to buy the miniatures for the RPG or for D&D or whatever. I still see plenty of people at CQ shop the Anima rack looking for their characters in Shadowrun or D&D. And I'm like, hey, do you play Anima? I always run into somebody like shopping Anima. I'm like, hey, do you play Anima? Because it's really cool. And they're like, no, I'm just using it for a D&D miniature or whatever. Yeah, I always wondered why they never pushed to anime fans. AX crowd would have loved the game. I agree. And I still want to push it, man. I don't have control of the AX show. Ninja Division is getting a booth there. They are, you know, obviously they don't have Anima on their schedule at all anymore. I could see somebody like Richard, because he mentioned this to me last year specifically. He's like, hey, I could show up with some Anima and we can run Anima there at AX. And because he's in, you know, if he decides to do that in the open gaming area, that is totally cool. No one's going to stop him, and he's totally free to do that. I would love to do that at AX, because I think it would see a crowd. I think if you could show, and I showed the game off at WonderCon last year, and, you know, it was fairly well received. I think I could have run a better demo now that I have had so many more games of Anima since then. I think I could tailor a better demo for it, but, you know, that's okay. But yeah. Yeah, Anima, I wish it had seen more anime fans, because we could have really broken in with that crowd. And imagine, to that point, imagine how much better off Relic Knights would be at this point. Okay, so we're just gonna pretend that we're right about everything for a minute, like all nerds on the internet do. So let's pretend what I'm saying is absolute truth, right? Or what you're saying too. Like, let's say we ran Anima Tactics at AX last year, and it just fucking took over like a typhoon or shitstorm or whatever, right? And we had this following of people playing Anima Tactics, painting Anima Tactics, enjoying Anima Tactics. And then suddenly Relic Knights shows up, and we're like, hey, you like Anima Tactics, you'll also like this because you're also an anime fan. And maybe Relic Knights could have been even bigger at its debut, because you would have already cracked that crowd. You would have already established yourself with that crowd. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking shit, or maybe I'm crazy, but I don't know, man. It's feasible. That's all I'm saying. It's feasible. It could have happened that way, but, you know, it didn't. It's not. Oh shit! I just realized I did something dumb. Oh well. It's still gonna work. But yeah, I don't know. We'll just make believe. Maybe it would have happened that way. But maybe supporting AT at a critical juncture like that, maybe it would have been better. Maybe, because I still do believe that that one of the next new crops for the new miniature war gamers of the future is gonna be at the comic shows, at the anime shows. I think that's the crowd. You have generations of kids growing up around 40K and Warm Hordes and all that, and they're gonna they're gonna grow up and find skirmish gaming to fit their lifestyle and wallet a little bit more. So they'll play the skirmish games, but they may not necessarily flock to these type of skirmish games, which are, in the other category. Shoot, maybe, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna use this gray as the undercoat for the hair. But yeah, maybe we would have cracked that crowd a little earlier. Maybe Ninja would have earned a little bit more confidence in its fan base. Maybe it would, I don't know. Maybe we would be in a little bit better shape than we are now. And I realize I'm just talking mess, and I have no basis to defend my hypothesis here. But so what? I still think maybe it would have been better. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Anyway. So I'm going to paint in his hair this gray and then go back up towards white because I think it looks better. Or maybe I'll just leave his hair like this gray and maybe paint in a white streak into it. It's the other option. Damn, he is freaking cool, man. I'm liking him more and more as this little process is continuing. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, and we're gonna, oops, the little claw here. Is that? That is a claw. It's not like that. He was like had a pair of scissors in his hand or something like that. Also, this should also point out the importance of keeping up a regular release schedule. Gamers will tell you all day long how they don't have money and they don't want to spend money. That's a lie. Gamers are dying to give you their money. They're dying. They're tripping over themselves to give you the manufacturer money. All you have to do is just keep hitting them up with new shiny. And they're all over that. So yeah. I mean, the fact that the release schedules were always so conservative, to put it lightly, probably didn't help much. All right. Okay, so now, I faded this up a little bit more. Use it as just a tip highlight here on the rock. And then I'll highlight a little claws. It's a little too much of a highlight there. I mean, in the other thing I'll point out is, like, even for us locally here, us ninjas locally here, we kind of made the decision not to really push the Cipher game so much this year at the con schedule. And in fact, I didn't include it on any convention schedule. We thought about it for Kingdom Con, but we ended up not doing it for Kingdom Con. And the reason why we did that is, if I'm being completely honest here, it's just too hard to keep such a small following invested in so many different games at the same time. I just don't think it's wise. And not only do I not think it's wise, I don't think it's feasible, right? How are you going to get people that you just taught Relic Knights? And it's going to be this way for a while. I think that's one of the things that we keep missing, is that when you promote a new game, you're going to be in for a very lonely year, the first year. And this is really the first calendar year that Relic Knights is on the map. Now imagine trying to do that, and as your players are getting started, you're going to throw another game at them, like, oh hey, let's play some AT while we're at it. They're never going to get around to AT, and in some cases they're going to be like, they'll find something else, like, oh, let's just play Dreadball, right, or something like that. And I don't have anything against Dreadball. I'm just using it as a, here's a game that's popular enough, and we can just have a following for that. So, I don't know. Am I just talking shit? Yes, a little bit. Okay. Oh. And then let's come back in with the white on his hair here. Then I only have like 2 little details to do. And he's basically done. There wasn't a lot of like highly technical painting happening here. But who cares? It's a beautiful sculpt that's going to stand on its own. It's one of the things about Anima Tactics is the sculpts are ridiculously good. They're really, really good. And I love painting AT. I do. If I go through a period where I don't get to paint AT for a while, I'll just go through withdrawals. It'll just be bad. I don't I don't like it when I haven't painted AT in a while, because it's just freaking, pretty much all the sculpts are amazing. Takanosuke here is no exception. Painting the little fleur-de-lis. So I'm going to do that in yellow ochre. I mean, that's a great detail. A little fleur-de-lis on the chest. That I don't think you can get this kind of detail using the rustic that Relic Knights uses. Furthermore, that level of detail isn't the style that Relic Knights is. This Anima Tactics style is very much a Final Fantasy style, which is like a gothic anime. So it still has that crazy energy to it, but then it's got gothic elements to it. And so the details on the miniatures get pretty intricate when it comes down to it. Man, I'm wondering if I should throw another wash on him. His skin is just looking all scratchy. I want to. Maybe I'll thin out a wash and run that over. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So a little bit of water. Soak up a bunch of wash. There we go. This should work out quite well. And I'm just going to do that over the flesh as kind of a, really just to kind of smooth out transitions. So then you can see it going in right now. There you go. Just so that things don't look so scratchy. Oh, I forgot to paint those straps in. I'll do that. Yeah, he's looking pretty cool. That's why AT will appeal to Final Fantasy fans and RK will appeal to Tenchi Muyo fans. Ah, nice Tenchi Muyo reference. I remember watching Tenchi Muyo on Toonami. And I really liked that show. I didn't think I would because Tenchi Muyo, a lot of times it's just some silly, like, harem style anime, and it's goofball. A lot of stuff in Tenchi Muyo is goofball. Sometimes they had some cool, like, action scenes, but it on some of the other, the other sub series of Tenchi Muyo, it was kind of few and far between. But I do have very fond memories of that anime. I loaded up a Tenchi Muyo that I hadn't seen before on Netflix. It was, I think it's the newest one, and it's not even about Tenchi. It's about like his nephew or something. And you probably, Jose, you probably know what it is, but I tried watching it. It was just, I couldn't bear it. That one was just a little too, I don't know, I didn't like the anime style on the new one, and it just couldn't get me. They couldn't get me invested in it. I think, yeah, that is a shuriken, isn't it? He's like trying to throw a shuriken. But yeah, Tenchi Muyo. It's not that different than Sword Art. Sword Art's another harem style anime, and it has a little romance to it. I noticed that I kind of like that kind of sappy anime stuff. And I do like the grittier stuff. Obviously, Berserk is one of my all-time favorites, and I like the classics, the Cowboy Bebops and Ninja Scroll and that kind of stuff. But I also really like the kind of sappy stuff too. Oh, it's his younger brother. Yeah, I couldn't watch it, man. I made it through like 2/3 of one episode, and I was like, well, I can't do this. I am not invested in this. But yeah, take it for what you will. Okay, so he's got feathers, but I'm gonna make them leaves, and so the feather in his head is gonna be kind of a purple color, and then I'll have green for the leaves. Where's my purple? Once again, if you're just tuning in, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. We're talking about Anima Tactics, anime, and whatever you want to talk about. Let's play this. Let's use this Reaper purple. I think I've even cracked this. If you're willing to watch an old anime, which is a comedy combo of Evangelion and Tenchi, Dual Parallel Trouble Adventure was very good. I'll check it out. Yeah, I've been looking for an anime recommendation. I recently watched Fate Zero, and everyone I know swore by Fate Zero. And yeah, it was pretty good. I could say I liked it. It wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. I was just sort of about it. It was good. The last couple of animes I watched, I just was not satisfied with the endings. And the Fate Zero ending was okay. It just I don't know, man. It just didn't it didn't do it didn't go where I was hoping it would go. And if you want to talk about something really weird, a weird anime I was watching, and I can't explain really why I got invested in it, but I did. So I was watching Freezing, which is, an interesting one, to say the least. It's all, I mean, there's so much fan service in it that it really started to irk me. I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, not watching it, not interested, not good enough for me to follow, right? And I was like reading somebody else's review of it, and they're like, yeah, I couldn't stand the fan service, but it is worth a look, right? It is worth just checking it out. And I'm like, well, okay, I liked this guy's review of other stuff. So I turned it back on and I started to watch it. And yeah, I kind of got into it, and I started to, the fan service didn't annoy me as much. And then I got into the second season, Freezing, or what's it called? Freezing Vibrations. Yeah. And some of the side characters got really good to me. Like for example, I really, really started to dig Elizabeth Mabley. And I was like, wow, she was just such a minor character in the first season. And now it's like that she ended up being like my favorite character of the whole series. Even more than Satellizer is. And but then 10 minutes before freezing Vibrations is over, I'm like, wow, this is really building up to be an awesome ending. I can't believe how much I like this anime. It's gonna be good. And then just nosedived at the end. It was just such a completely unsatisfying. They tried to explain what happened, and I actually got more confused by their explanation than I was before they explained it to me. And I'm like, nah. So was disappointed with that ending. Fate Zero ending kind of disappointed me. So I'm looking for a new anime. And yeah, open to suggestions. Okay, let's clear through some of these comments here. Did that one. It's an interesting story. Too much fans. Yes, it's a cool like the freezing universe is pretty fucking cool. Like you could do something with that. You don't have it. It's just too much fan service. It's way too much fan service, and I don't like. And also the gore, it doesn't match. It's like somebody was they went through a mental disconnect. You can have these intense fighting scenes between the girls, and it can, the combat can be a little bit different. It just, every time the one loses an arm or whatever, you're like, okay, she lost an arm, she should be bleeding out and dying immediately. They're like, nah, you'll go back to the medic and everything will be fine. And I just, yeah, it just doesn't really fly that way with me. So, but anyway, yeah. But yeah, Freezing, oh man, I can't give it good marks. It is very interesting. If you just wrote out what the setting is, and you showed that to somebody, they go, wow, that's pretty cool. I want to see what happens. Some people didn't like Vibrations because it kind of turns the tables on on where the original series was. But I thought it got pretty cool with the what are they called? The Pandoras, the artificially created super chicks. I thought that was cool. And like the whole controversy of, it became kind of a universal soldier type paradigm. And I thought that was cool. I know some people didn't like it. I thought that was kind of cool. And I really thought it was going somewhere. Then it just ended up being really weird. So, yeah. What was I forgot what anime I was gonna look at. I never finished Legend of the Legendary Warriors. It just didn't grab me. I watched a bunch of episodes, and I think that the setting is pretty cool, but I don't know. It's almost like, I don't know. It was just off. It just didn't resonate with me. I don't know. Oh, boy. But yeah, it's stuff like that, like enjoying anime, that I watch anime like that. I watched Legend of the Legendary Warriors, and I go, dude, oh shit. Shit. I could have, now that I'm thinking about it, like I could have made this guy Steiner, or whatever that guy's name is, and I could have made Takanosuke Ferris. It's stuff like that. When I'm watching that stuff, and I look at these miniatures, and I'm like, I can totally make that. I can totally make that crew. Like, I want to make the Sleeping Knights from SAO. I want to do that. We already made a Kirito and Asuna miniature. Oh, why not do that? And all these other, and like I was watching Freezing, going, oh, I could actually use like a shitty Wizenshaft agent. I can use Wizenshaft agent as the limiter, and use like, Celia or somebody as Satellizer, or something like that. No, and I probably will do it anyway, because like I said, I'm not leaving Anima Tactics. Look at that. That's fucking cool. I'm not dropping that. Anyway, you know what I need to do right now is I need to, we're going to put in a water effect, and I don't have water effect, but what I do have is I have this gloss coat. So this gloss coat, I can just brush or even drip in there if I so chose. I may drip it in there just to fill the base. And it's going to take, probably a full day for this to dry. But let's do it. Shoot. Don't want to do that. Don't want to leave gloss on the outside there. But I'm just going to slowly drip it into that base. Should probably be using an eyedropper for this. That's okay. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to use a large clean brush and just put that in here. And just transfer it in using the brush. And it's going to take a very long time for it to dry. But when it dries, it should be pretty cool. The whole, like, bog. I guess I could have put a tuft in there. Probably should have. You know what? Maybe I have one. I can just stick in there. Let me see if I have one. If I have one handy. I have flowers handy. I have like that. Hold on a sec, guys. Let's check. Should have something like that. Haha. It's going to be in standing water like that. It's got to be pretty green, so that's pretty green. So I'm just going to take a tuft of it. I'm going to drop a glue behind it. And we'll pop that bad boy in there. Yeah, I do need more anime, though. I need something. But yeah, welcome to Play Painted Live. If you're just joining us, let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. Once again, we're talking about the discontinuance of Anima Tactics and how that affects me, you, and others, and what you're, how do you approach dead, quote unquote, dead or dying games? You just abandon, you try to, is it important for you to always have a living supported game, or are you willing to play something that knowing that you're not going to get much of any support from the parent company? And there you go. So I've got some of that sticking out. Let's see if I can actually get this to. There. All right, and we're filling up the bog here with. This is just gloss. It's not water effect. But it should dry. It should actually, when it dries and hardens, it should dry and harden clear, and that should look right. Anyway, Full Metal Panic is a good robot anime. Flame of Recca or Yu Yu Hakusho. I heard some cool shit about Yu Yu Hakusho. Never really watched that myself. But yeah, I don't know. You pretty much like. I think Jose. I think you understand my taste. I'm really into the campy K-pop intros. So like, the dramatic AOE songs and who is that? Lisa. Some of those other groups that do these anime intros are awesome. And I that to me, it's usually an indicator of whether or not I'll like the show. If I really like the intro. So I watched the intro specifically, and I realized that most or a lot of these animes won't even show the intro to their anime until you get to the second episode, because then that otherwise the intro doesn't make sense to you. You're just watching a bunch of random images. So a lot of times I'll watch the whole first episode, and I'm specifically wanting to get to the second episode so that I can watch the intro and see what I enjoy there. But anyway, we'll see. So yeah, this guy is just about done. Just painting in the black lip of the base. And then it's just going to be a really long wait while all that gloss coat dries down in there. But yeah, he's super fun. Enjoyed painting this miniature. I was really, really simple with the color scheme. But, oh, you know what I do need to do? Just a minor little Macross Frontier. Love Macross, so might give that a shot. So, yeah, I guess the key point for tonight in Anima is, yeah, I'm sad. No, it's not going to really affect anything I'm doing, my own desire to continue playing the game, because I'll continue to play the game. And again, I played dead systems, quote-unquote dead systems before. I don't believe that this game may have a comeback unless another company were to step in, take over the IP, and give the game a much-needed update. Now, if something like that happens, I will be so damn stoked for this game. And if they, if another company stepped in and said, "Hey, we're gonna refresh Anima Tactics, and we're gonna, and we want to tap," and they're looking for volunteers, I'm in. I'm down. I'll be a ninja and whatever this is, because it was such a big part of me following Ninja Division in the first place. Being such a fan of the Cipher games, that I'm in. I love these games. I think the miniatures are wildly underrated, and the games are also very solid, and also not really. I don't think they get the praise that they deserve, because they're good games. But yeah, I'm not really planning on abandoning Anima. Although from an official sense, yeah, from a Ninja Division volunteer standpoint, I'm not going to be chasing people around the corner trying to get them to play Anima. Which is weird, because people are now approaching me wanting to play Anima. So there you have it. I don't know. Maybe it's the Streisand effect. Maybe we just say, yeah, don't play Anima anymore. More people will play Anima. Maybe Cipher's looking to do that. I don't know. Okay. So let me load some YouTube comments, because I haven't really seen anything new come in on the YouTubes. One comment. Troy Press. I saw there was a Super Dungeon Explorer tournament in Vegas last Sunday. Do you know if anyone went to that? I didn't see many players for it there. I didn't even... I saw that Ross was trying to put that together, but I don't know what happened there. At LVO, I don't know. I would have loved to go to went to LVO, and if I'd gone, I would try to have put together a Heroic Knights tourney. But yeah, I mean, LVO is really brand new stomping grounds for ninjas, so I don't expect there would be much of a presence there anyway. That said, Ross was there, but I don't know what type of turnout he had. And I'm sorry this reply is coming in 24 minutes late. But yeah. So I'm just going to let this dry. A couple of announcements while you're here. We're going to keep the show going here for a few more minutes. Sunday, we are going to... Corey and I are going to be running Super Dungeon Explorer at the Slide Bar in Fullerton. And this is for an event called Geek Meet, which is an interesting concept. It's basically building as the after party to the Long Beach Comic Expo. So Long Beach Comic Expo is happening this weekend. And then Sunday night, they're basically throwing an after party. And this after party is called Geek Meet. And this is for cosplayers. And they're going to have like video games and video game tournaments. They're going to have the cosplay contest or cosplay DJ. They're going to have nerd speed dating if you're interested in doing some speed dating. which I would if I was single. I think it's hilarious. I don't care. I mean, I don't know that I would take it that seriously. I would just go just to meet people. Probably be all dudes and like 2 chicks. But I don't care. My wife and I actually thought about doing that at Gen Con a couple of years ago. There was nerd speed dating, and we're like, oh my God, I have to know. I have to know. And we were going to do it, and I pulled us out of it because I was like, it's too heartbreaking for these dudes to come up to you and try to hit on you, and you're like married. You're like secretly married, and they have no chance. And like, I don't know, I couldn't live with myself knowing that I sent my wife in there, and guys are going to be like, oh, I can date her, and you can't. But anyway, that's going on Sunday. Jose, if you're interested in going, let me know, because it's free and you can just come and hang out, and it should be fun. Gaming is only happening from 4 to 8. And Corey and I are going to be there pushing SDE, and we'll have Karate Fight. You know how good that game is. Which it's not, but it's a game that happens. That's what I tell people. That's how I describe Karate Fight. Can we please trade Karate Fight for Anima Tactics? Can we promote Anima Tactics again and not Karate Fight? I'll trade Tentacle Bento for Eldorado. Let's just do that. Let's keep these games in and kick out those not good games on that side. Okay, they're okay games. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of them. They don't really resonate with me. I won't lie. But yeah. But yeah, if you want to go, let me know. It's at Slide Bar in Fullerton, and we'll be running SDE there. By the way, I've been coming across some really freaking cool shit. Let me set him aside here to dry. I'm gonna pull the camera up here so you can see a little more what's going on. So one sec, I'll be right back. Okay. Because it is con season, and I'm amping up my terrain. And while you guys are watching the tail end of the show here, I'm going to show you a couple of things I picked up recently. Okay, so at OrcCon, there's a company called Arknight. And they make these reversible tiles for, just for role play or whatever. You can see that they're gridded out. They're the exact same size as SDE tiles. Well, not the whole tile, but the space in between the square. The size of the squares are SDE squares, and they're reversible. They're laminated. You can write on them, and there's just so many cool sets. Like this is like a castle set, and then there's like a graveyard. There's a cave. There's a beach. I have 11 sets, and it ends up being like almost 110 tiles. So, anyway, really cool product. They have a ship map, which is awesome. So, like, imagine playing SDE on a ship. You play 16-bit game, and you spawn Captain R, and Captain R is the bad guy. I think that's awesome. So that's one of the things I picked up. The other thing I picked up is just absolutely the most brilliant thing. I'm going to break it out because these are individually wrapped. Now these are, I got to pan up so you can actually see that. These are secret weapon tablescapes. Okay, so they're made of the hard plastic, like the GW things are. These are 1x1 tiles, and this set is Forbidden City, right? Now, let's go over the bad news. A set like this for a 6x4 table, which consists of 24 of these tiles, is $250 from Secret Weapon, right? So you're gawking, like, Jesus, like who would pay that? But here's the deal. specifically with Forbidden City, and why I went ahead and just took the plunge and went for Forbidden City. If you look here, gridded, again, SDE, right? There are also like broken Coliseum pieces. And the clip system is fantastic. These all clip together, right? And they're all really lightweight, and they're all pretty tough. You can see I did a real basic dry brush and airbrush job on them. So here's the thing. I can play Arena Rex, SDE, Relic Knights, Infinity, and arguably Robotech. I can play Anima Tactics. Why not? You can even play Anima Tactics using the squares. What I'm getting at is the versatility of a 1x1 plastic tile 3D terrain board is such that I can play virtually every game that I enjoy. Every game that I enjoy with one set. And this one set means I can run, for example, I can run a 6-player SDE arena tournament from one set. I can run 4 players through Relic Knights. I can run a game of Infinity. I can run a game of Infinity, and I'll still have enough to do an SDE game on the side. And they're rigid. So, at CQ, when we put the mat down, those fucking X-Wing guys take my foam, those black foam spacers I have. When those guys take, because they're 3 foot, they're perfect for X-Wing. And I'm like, nice, I don't say anything. Like, give me my fucking foam pieces back. When they take those, we have these tables. So I can set this up. For example, I can set this up 3x3, play a game of Relic Knights, and then you're like, hey, let's play Infinity. All I have to do is stick on the extra 7 tiles around the outside, and bam, we're playing Infinity. And we're playing on a nice, firm board that's, not going to be affected by the gap in between the 2 tables. They're light enough to where I can carry anywhere. I got these and painted them up immediately, and it's like, I don't think I've ever spent better money on terrain. That's how impressed I am with these. These are freaking amazing. I mean, yeah, $250 is a lot of money, but consider the amount of games that I play and I host. That's a steal for me. I was in the middle of cutting foam tiles and trying to figure out, how do I do this and how do I make this map work, and breaking. I had a soldering iron out the other night, and I'm like, okay, I'm killing the ozone layer and I'm getting super high trying to make all this work, and bam, this shows up at my door. Put this together. It's fucking brilliant. It's totally worth it. I would recommend this to anybody who has the money to do something like this. I looked at it as an investment. I can put this together, and I will always, always, always have the right size table with me. I love that. That's huge. And look at this. I mean, this is like a busted up tomb. This is SDE, and I can play Arena Rex. I can play pretty much everything on this. You gotta love that, man. It's fantastic. So I can't shut up about this. This is like one table to rule them all, as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, they're just beautiful. So yeah, totally recommend checking out the Secret Weapon tablescapes. So, anything else? Well, yeah, I'm going to be in heavy terrain mode for a while here. I'm going to be building some terrain. Yeah, Jose, and yeah, if you want to come, dude, I'll buy you a beer. We'll hang out. We can play SDE. You can meet some cute cosplay chicks. Which is awesome. Awesome. There might only be like 1 to every 7 dudes there, but you're used to that's how these things go. You're used to that. Some of the cosplay chicks are not cute either, but hey. Okay, I'll try to be nice. But yeah. Let's see if there's any other comments here before we down for the evening. 2 comments. Okay. LVO is mostly 40k with Warhammer Hordes as a solid second in number of players. I think Warhammer Fantasy and Malifaux were tied for third. Infinity was next, followed by DZC and Warzone. Cool. I assuming, Troy, you went to play Malifaux or Infinity, right? That's cool. Anyway, yeah, I would have loved to go there and start Relic Knights in on that, but I've never been to LVO. But yeah, it would be cool just to see who else is playing Relic Knights out in the larger world. I know JT was the guy heading up the Infinity stuff. He's a really good guy. So yeah. Okay. But yeah, Secret Weapon Tablescapes, check it out. They're really nice product. And I'm really happy that I picked those up. I'm going to have to develop some lightweight terrain to go with it. But that shouldn't be too hard. The resin stuff looks great, but it's heavy and it will chip and damage. These are the columns that came with Arena Rex, or that you could add on for Arena Rex. And they're cool, but here's the issue right here that I had. See this? This isn't a mold line. This is literally a slip between in the mold. So you can't file this down without ruining the whole column. And I have 4 of these. And they all have it. And it's pretty bad. So I was pretty bummed about that because they look fantastic otherwise. I'm still going to use them for Arena Rex, but you know, just kind of a bummer. This one's actually, I can probably fix it. Well, I can fix some of it, but they look okay. They look nice from a distance anyway. So yeah, let me load comments one more time, and then it's pretty late, so I think I may call it after this. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. Here's let's see if I can do a final. I think that the gloss isn't going to slosh around so much. Maybe I can show you what he looks like head on and not ruin him, but it's moving a little bit. I shouldn't. Here, let's do this. I'll take this off the mount. You can see, look at that. Look at how organized that is. Anyway, focus. Focus. Well, you can kind of see him. I'll take a picture of him tomorrow or whatever when it dries. But I think he looks pretty cool. If the camera will focus. Doesn't look like it will. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I want to thank you guys for watching. And we'll catch you on the next one.